All right. Hello. Um, Looking to do a video here, maybe a video series here to get into some more in-depth explanation of what we're working on here. We've got our Instagram, newsletter, other social media, trying to get the word out and educate on co-buying, but need something that for the people that are looking to get a little bit more in depth, who understand that this is a good option, but want to kind of take a step further and understand it better. Um, this is a format to kind of dig a little bit deeper into some of these specifics. So, this video in particular is going to be going through some of the financials and looking at these properties as an investment and seeing how these things are very much, not only livable and something that, as an alternative to rent is very attractive, but from an investment perspective and thinking about it from an investor's lens, how do we look at these properties and how can we find some that make sense for you, and that you can kind of rest assured that it will um, retain its value into the future. So I'll go through a few things with you here. Let me know about any questions. I'll dive into some deeper topics in the future, like who restored living is and what we're working on and our mission and all that. And then also, I want to be clear that right now we're talking about the financials, but, most people going into co-buying and living in community, this is not the priority. The priority is, having space where you can live with other people and really thrive as a group. So I don't want to, don't let this take away from the fact that a lot of people really are, qualitative side of this is probably even better than the financial. Um, but I think everybody maybe understands community and the importance there and all the great things that come with that, whereas some of these real estate concepts are a little bit new. So I'll be talking about these, but this is just one piece of a whole puzzle into why co-buying is the best thing out there. Um, and also, I'll be looking at these from cost per bedroom, which assumes that one co-buyer per bedroom, um, kind of as an alternative to rent. But easily just consider if you're looking for, if you're a couple and you're looking for 3 bedrooms, um, that can kind of get thrown into the math as well. But starting like that just to make it easy. So um, so our big, maybe quickly, I'll talk more about these in the future, but um, our two services are number one, getting groups aligned and prepared and organized logistically, legally, financially to be in a position to purchase, getting that co-buying readiness, so to speak, packaging that and working with you to get something unique to you. We have templates and kind of starting points on different types of groups and what their priorities are, but setting that up for you. And then the second thing is finding a property that is financially and livably attractive. So this is our kind of IP here. Sharing it just as an educational thing. I think some of these properties are going to be on market right now, so reach out if you want them. But no, seriously, looking at these, I really would recommend figuring it out and getting a group. There's a lot to get to before you're at this purchasing point. So, I'm happy to share it because I think there's a lot of steps. It's not just identifying the property, it's getting everything that needs to happen to get into a position to buy. So, but to that point, these are live listings. What we do here, this is our property analysis tool that looks at properties. Like I said, what we're able to find with this analysis is, a $1.2 million property sounds expensive, but 8 people splitting it. And what are you kind of looking for and what's your alternative? And if you're looking to get into Milton, pretty nice area, good school systems, etc. This could be a way to enter in. So 2 units, 8 bedrooms total, 2 family. Let's look through this. Okay, nice. So, so how I look at these things is who would be looking at it. It'd be a 3 and a 5 bedroom. So probably two, it's either 8 friends or family members that want to rent together, or maybe two couples that are looking to have small families and get in there. I'd probably think about maybe in practice 6 people are getting in, so maybe 2 and 4, or maybe 3 and 4, something like that. 6 or 7. We don't necessarily always want to pack one person per bedroom, but it's a starting point here. Um, so look at this. So you're getting in at basically 1.2, so 600,000 per condo. Um, so just keep that in mind for a second. Two ways we can look at this. We could either look at what is the comparatives for renting in the area, and then what are the comparatives for buying a condo. Um, so let's say where we got to put it up here. Milton residential rentals, and then we want to go, let's go 3 to 6, because 1 and 2 bedrooms don't really work the same way. They're priced a lot higher, right? So 1,034, or 1,300 if you want to really just crush that and you don't like paying interest. Own that thing in 15 years. Um, but let's look at this. So 3 beds, 4s. Goodness gracious, we won't even consider that. But look at these. So if you look at this, the absolute cheapest rental, if you want to live in Milton, is $395. So you're paying about $1,030 per bedroom. And then we're including utilities in ours. I don't know if this includes utilities or whatnot, but all of these are over $1,000 per bedroom. Um, Average list price gets bumped up by a luxury listing, which is not what we're looking for. But so on a monthly basis, just looking at this property that I came across, 1,030. Look at that. So you're paying. So if you wanted to find the most affordable rental in the area right now, owning this property is comparative to that. Um, let's look at condos. So 600. So look at this. So in the past 12 months, the most affordable condo was a little under 600,000. Everything else, goodness me, was well over. So remember, as a group, you're buying these and you're living in a condo situation. You're living one person above, one below. Um, and what we're seeing here is that you can own these things for under what the market is. So let's say, this one, I don't know what happened there, but let's say the average price, consistently, this one's active. So, let's call it 700,000. Um, I don't even know if I need to do the math here for you guys, but so that property was 1.2. Let's get some, nailed it. Divided by 2, sorry. Bear with me here. And then the average was 700,000. Again, I don't even need to be doing the math. You would be coming in $100,000 under what the market is looking at. So you purchase this as a couple, as a group, where 2 of you are coming in and buying it as a multifamily, and then eventually you can convert it to a condo if you want to have separate deeds, and you can then have the flexibility. But you are, just by going this co-buying route and taking the perspective of an investor and saying, what do these properties look like? What is the alternative in a condo scenario? If it's 700,000 and you're able to buy this at 600,000, you don't even necessarily need to convert it to a condo if you want to live there forever. Taxes are a little bit lower to keep it, but you're able to you're getting in the market $100,000 under what anybody else is. So, and if you're looking at it from a rental, again, you're ensuring you're getting in at that rental cost, and then your mortgage is going to be consistent for the future, because that thing is stable. So that's kind of what I'm trying to get at here. Is this delta here is what investors will go in. They'll identify this go purchase that property, turn it into condos, and then resell and have a good amount of profit from that. But if you're the end user buying this to live there, you're able to forego that profit if you want, and get in at a much more affordable rate. So I believe that property was on market, right? So, go with us if you're interested, but this thing is on market right now. So active. It's been active in the past 40 days. To maybe speak on why are these things possible. When you're looking at it from a co-buying perspective, nobody else in the market right now is doing that until we do our job and get this becoming more prominent. Investors are looking at it from what can I rent it for? And if the rental is near what it is to own it, you do need, as an investor, 15 to 20% profit margin. So that gets it a little bit towards, no longer feasible. If you're the end buyer, you don't need to see that same profit. You're just trying to live somewhere. So you're able to get in a little bit lower. But then usually, regular buyers don't have 20% down on 1.2. What would that be? 240,000. But as a co-buying group, no, it's not 240,000. It's 30,000. Insane. And if it's, take 2 beds out, say you want 6 people instead of 8, you're still probably under 50,000. So you're dividing what you need by 6, by 5 or 6. So it's 20. It's significantly more affordable to do it this way, to purchase it, to get in, and then you see that you have a little bit more financial flexibility to move around with. Let's see, should we do one more? Let's see if we can look around. So let's do a Boston one, because Boston is famously unaffordable. This one's medium cost, but 7 bedrooms, 6 baths. I should be talking a little bit, we filter for this. I'm just trying to kind of do this on the fly, so I won't look through it now, but most people I know are paying about $12.90. I don't know where this one is. Let's take a look at this. We'll do one more, and then we'll move on to some other things. All right, 109 days it's been on market, so looks great to us. From the market perspective, not as attractive. Really giving you guys gems here. Brighton, okay. 7 bed, 4 bath, set up as a 3 and 4, solid. And then each unit has about 1,200 square feet. Great size. Turnkey renovations last year. Great. Oak Square. Anybody want to live there? Let's take a look. I like the color. Oh, it's got a good yard too. I'm always looking for a yard myself. Solid. Love that. 0.13. That's notable in such an area. So I could go through that example again. I suppose we're looking at 3 to 4 bedrooms in Brighton. So let's see if I can filter by, we'll want to go Boston and then just Brighton, please. Condos 3 to 6. Should we consider Alston as well? Will you guys? Okay, don't even need to. That was a 3 to 4. Do they even sell condos in that area? 1. So I don't even, what would that condo be? It would be like 700,000. Oh. All right. Now we're talking. Okay. 6 months, 38. Jeez. 38. All right, so can we find 3 to 4 bedrooms? The floor, if we want to convert it to condos, is, we'll call it 700,000. all right. So again, we don't really want to be looking at it. Average sale is 900. Average list is 1 million. So the average, we're beating the average by 270,000 per unit. So that's 500K across the total property. But the floor is a little bit lower. So, you know, that's one thing. That one, would we recommend it? Probably, if you want to live there. 1290 a bedroom. I bet Brighton might be a little bit lower. So 1290 for a 3 to 4 bedroom. So we're looking at like 4,000 or so. Yeah, so you can beat that. It's not cheaper than renting at the floor. Let's see what the average is. 4,000. All right, so you're about on average what rent is in that area to own. So this would be if you like, it's not necessarily crushing it like that other one. Again, this was medium cost though. I'm trying to have some buffer area there, but medium cost, 1290. If we really want to be beating it, we'd prefer to be a little bit lower, but again, you might be paying around that amount in Boston anyway. So I won't keep claiming, these are the objective facts that this is kind of around, the floor is still around 1,000 a room. So there's that. But we got all these other examples to look through too. But looking at monthly costs and how does that compare to rent if that's the alternative, and then what does that down payment look like as an investment, are the two things that we look at. I'll talk about that investment maybe in another video. I'll talk about who we are in another video, service one in another one. But I hope that maybe gave some introduction into how we look at these things. If you're looking at this in a month or so, the properties are all different. If you're looking at it tomorrow, reach out. But either way, we're consistently, all the other filters that we have to make sure these things are livable are over there. If you work with us, we'll show you some more, but wanted to just give an introduction here. Can you believe it? It's legitimately cheaper. It's around what it costs to rent, just regardless. And then if you're looking at it from a condo, you're usually always getting in lower. So hopefully this is beneficial and poses as an argument for how this can put a dent in the housing crisis. These affordability metrics are legitimate. They're, this is how many that we're looking at here. We get about 30 to 40 a week that, again, are already quantified by some of the metrics that we're looking at. So, we got tons of them. Reach out if you want to see specific ones for particular areas, particular bedroom counts. Maybe we filter by square foot, lot size in the future. That's inaccurate. But yeah, hope everyone enjoyed. Take care.